What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Nickel City Rush Hour. Man, Jake, you and I, we had something planned, something different, but then the messages started coming in hot and heavy all day long. Like, this player's been cut, this player's been cut. We're restructuring this person. And I mean, Bill's end of an era for some of these players we're going to talk about. Bill's trying to get cap compliant. They have to do so by March 13th. But man, let me talk about the players that have been cut, and then I'll get your thoughts real quick. Mitch Morse, Trey White, Jordan Poyer, Deonte Harty, and Siran Neal. So let me throw it to you, my friend. I mean, what's your thoughts with all this news coming out today?
I did not expect any of this to happen. I didn't even expect to hear any Bills news. I mean, maybe a resigning here or there. I mean, we saw the resigning of David Edwards, and I was like, okay, that's good. I like him as a depth piece. Really good on heavy package. And now it looks like he might end up being the starting left guard now that Mitch Morse has been cut, because now the rumor is Connor McGovern is going to slide over to center. It's really hard to process all of this. I guess I wasn't super surprised by all of the names on this list, because I felt like, there had to be some cap casualties, but I feel like it was a harder blow because it all just came at once. And it was just like, first, actually, our day started off with another Buffalo team trading Casey Middlestat, who's been here for some years. And I felt like we kind of got hosed on that trade a little bit too. And then all this Bills news releases. And then in the middle of that, they announced that they signed Matt Hawk back to the team too, which is just so random. So I don't know how to process all of this. It's been a tough day, but you know what? Brandon Beane, I have a ton of faith in. We've actually already made some moves since all those releases, and we'll talk more about that as we go. But yeah, I think the initial blow was like, man, it was just kind of coming to grips with reality that these players were no longer going to be playing for the Buffalo Bills. And this has been, I mean, the Jordan Poyer era, if you want to call it. It's been probably the most fun 6-7 years I've ever had watching Buffalo Bills football. So, thank you to all of them. I know they probably will never hear this message, but my gosh, it's been so much fun. And I wish things could have ended better with Trey White, because it's not fair. Life is not fair, man.
Yeah, I agree. So let me ask you the first question, and we got Roy out there. Good to see you. Roy says none of these are surprises, and honestly, to
Yeah.
me, because they all came in one bunch throughout the day, it's sad. It's sad. But when you honestly think about it, of these five, there's only one big surprise for me. But let me throw it to you first. Who's the biggest surprise for you in that list?
Mine was Mitch Morse, just because I know he was like on the fringe deciding whether he was going to retire or not. But I felt like once we traded Ryan Bates to clear some cap space, I'm like, okay, well, Mitch Morse is going to be a Buffalo Bill next year. I was fully prepared to go into the season with him as our starting center. So that's where I was like, man, that kind of hurts a little bit. I get it. I understand the reasoning for it, but I didn't expect it.
Yeah, same here. That's my big surprise. I mean, you and I
Yeah.
did a show just this past Sunday or a week before, kind of predict the 53-man roster, and which it forced us to talk about some of these cut casualties. And Mitch was one I did not see coming, and it worries me the most, which means to me, I don't feel secure with who would you say would be our center right now?
So Ian Rappaport was reporting that Ian Rappaport reports that Connor McGovern is going to shift over and play center, which he has about a year of experience in total playing center. And this isn't even in the NFL. It was at Penn State. So I don't really know how to feel about it. I think he can make the move. He's very athletic. I mean, he was kind of born to play in the interior of the offensive line. So while he's not Mitch Morse, I think he is capable of doing so. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, the lack of experience is still concerning.
It changes the chemistry. I mean,
It
this
does.
this line
Yeah.
was fantastic last year. We were lucky. I mean, that line stayed intact all year long. And I was like, we're set. We're set on the offensive line this year. We just got to get it some other pieces. And all of a sudden, you lose the drummer of your band, the center. Mitch Morse played at a high level last year. We were worried about the concussions; those didn't happen. Again, I know there was a lot of cap savings, but I thought maybe they could restructure it somewhat. By the way, we'll talk about some of the restructures. There's been a lot of restructure going on, and last I heard, the Bills are now roughly a couple million over the cap. Still more to come. They have to get compliant by March 13th. But yeah, Mitch Morse, you're going to disrupt that line that was so good last year. And it would have been great to have draft someone or pick someone up. I'm pretty sure they're gonna go to free agency now and bring someone else in. Do we have to draft a replacement? It sounds like it. Got 11 picks. We'll probably pick a center as well. But it would be nice to have someone young come in and just play behind them and learn from him. I do have a question, Jake, because when I first saw this, I'm thinking, is there some Magic Beans doing? Get it, Magic Beans. Is he cutting Mitch and maybe going to re-sign him again? I mean, it's a possibility, right? Just because you cut a guy, or release them, doesn't mean you can't re-sign him. Maybe Mitch is embedded in Buffalo. I don't know his family situation. We talked about that on one of our last shows. Hometown discounts. Is he willing to play a year? I don't know. What do you think of that?
Well, it sounded to me like he definitely wanted to retire as a Buffalo Bill, but when you usually cut someone, that typically is the end of the line for that player with your team. Now, it's different where it's like preseason, you release them, they go, they get cut and then they come back for a cheaper contract. He's already under contract. So if anything, he would have done what like Von Miller did, where you renegotiate, or you can do what we did with Rasul Douglas, where you restructure his contract and therefore make the cap hit a little less. But when you restructure a contract, you're pushing back the money that you're supposed to pay him this year to future years. So you're almost, just kicking the can down the road a little bit more, and therefore saying like this guy is committed to us for a few more seasons too. So, I don't think there's any possibility of him coming back, unfortunately.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, I mean, now they can sign him for a 1-year deal, and who knows where you might.
I actually don't know what the legality is around that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because you're basically voiding the contract, you're cutting them. I mean, of course, there's still an opportunity. Like if he doesn't sign with a team he's looking to play
free
football
agent right now,
right? I mean, but chances are it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it looks like they want to move on, but that was the biggest shocker to me, and I think it's just going to be very disruptive to that offensive line, which was so good last year, so good. Let's move on to the second big guy, and you talked about him, Trey White. Mm-hmm. Right, just kind of a shame of how this has went down. I mean, 2 consecutive years with season-ending injuries. We love Trey. By the way, we love all these guys here, and that's why it's sad. But again, we talked about this on our previous show. I wasn't surprised. I think we even said it wouldn't be surprised if they cut him. And I mean, with Christian Benford, still don't know what Dane Jackson's situation is. That's going to be kind of big now. Are they just going to be able to, re-sign him? Because I think you need to. They did restructure Rasul Douglas, which is good. I don't know the details of his, but just know that they restructured Rasul, which is good. So
we saved $2.5 million with a restructure for Rasul Douglas. I don't know what the terms are of it, but I do know that we at least get $2.5 million back. So that's pretty good.
I think that I have that in my notes, but I'll find that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But so you got Rasul, you got Benford, you got Poyer, and I know somebody out there was saying, cut Poyer or trade him. He's still on a rookie contract. He's still pretty dirt cheap. And I don't know. After you let go of Trey, I think you want to keep him, at least give him another year. But so Trey's a tough one, but not a surprise to me, Jake. Not a surprise, and I've kind of gotten. We kind of gotten used to not having Trey, right? Last 2 years, hasn't been there, and we've had to, and we've done a pretty good job to some degree, especially when we signed Rasul. So Trey, is that a surprise to you, Jake?
No, it's not. I was hoping we could figure something out by restructuring his contract. I talked about it in one of our previous shows where you can change some of that money into like a signing bonus and essentially save like $8 million, but he's going to be designated a post-June 1st cut. So instead of saving $6 million, which would happen if we were to cut him like now or anytime before June 1st, we'll save $10 million because it's post that. So he is still technically a free agent. He could still sign with the team, but it won't become official that he's on that team until after June 1st.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to watch. I have to believe somebody's going to take a flyer on him for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah. But again, no surprise there. I think we're still okay at corner. Obviously, we've been playing without him for the past couple of years. And yeah, Roy, I saw that early on. Honestly, none of the moves were surprising. Jordan
What do you,
Poyer. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, what do you think of this? Because you talked about this a
Oh,
little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but the trading
Oh,
Kyer Elam now, do you think that's a real thing? Honestly, BSP, I really think instead the better move would be maybe trying to switch him to safety. And I know we just resigned Taylor Rapp, but I feel like maybe he'd be better suited to play the safety position. We could try that out, and if that doesn't work, then probably time to part.
yeah. And if you, I mean, I don't know, Bean's been he's been stocking up on picks. We've got 11
Yeah,
already. Would he trade him for probably only would get a fifth, maybe another fifth? That's a possibility, but I don't know what takers out. I don't know. I still believe anytime he was on the field, Jake, he made enough plays, and we don't know what was going on behind the situation. What was going on behind the scenes. But I just felt like anytime we saw him out there, I mean, look, the game he came in, the last game he played, he had that pass interference call, and then right away he makes an interception to make up for it. And he's had like what in his three was it 3 years with us, 2 years? He's got like four interceptions or something like that. And there's
yeah,
been some big ones. He's intercepted Mahomes in a game in a regular season game that turned the tide on that one. He's had some big plays, and he had that nice interception the last time we played. So, what's your thought? I mean, you're are you good with us keeping him? I mean, are you
I am.
wanting him to part ways with him?
No, I'm especially good with us keeping him because now we just brought in Jamil Adai as our new DB's coach, and he has a really good reputation of being able to work with these more physical, handsy corners and turn them into players. Now, it is mainly at the college level because he was with Georgia and a couple other bigger programs, but he has NFL playing experience as well. He played DB himself. His brother played DB. Jaleel Adai, who you may recognize, he started some seasons in the NFL. I think it was a really good move to bring him in. And with the already good reputation that Sean McDermott and Bobby Babbage have with, helping these defensive backs develop, I feel like it's a better situation for him now. I feel like, maybe John Butler, they didn't see eye to eye so well either. I know there's some rumors about all that too going on. Kyer Elam also was dealing with a pretty severe foot injury from our understanding too. So that definitely set him off a little bit. Didn't really allow him to come into his own this year like he should have. So I'm willing to give him another shot even at the cornerback position. But if that doesn't work, I still think it's maybe a good idea to try to switch him over to safety because I feel like that might even be better suited for him based on his size and his overall physicality.
All right, I like it. I agree with you. Keep him around. That piece. He's we got him on the cheap. Let me just go to the channel here. I want to say hi to everyone. Trek reviewer, good to see you. You were out there actually before the show even started. I hope you were happy with Jake's draft last night. Seemed like you got a lot of your guys. So good to see you there. Weston, thank you as always. We appreciate you coming in. And let's see here. Weston saying fire cell. That's what it feels like. That's what
Yeah,
it felt like, right? Fire cell.
definitely.
And BPS or BSP saying Birmingham Stallions prime time. Bean, you read my mind. And again, no Roy saying none of these moves were surprising. Trading Elam, and Bass.
Bass.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, you're ready to bail on Bass already, huh? I can't blame you. I mean, there's some good argument there. I mean, seriously, but kind of rough year. I mean, he had a great year with us the previous year. That's why he got signed. And something happened last year. So let's hope he has a nice bounce back. I'll tell you what, after Scott Norwood went wide right in the Super Bowl, he went on to have a fantastic year the following year. There weren't many kicks that he missed. So I expect Bass to recover as well. Stefan, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. I like our QB2 for next year. Who might that be?
Oh, you didn't hear the news.
I
The
didn't
Buffalo
not.
Bills have just brought back Mitchell Trubisky as the backup quarterback.
Okay,
Josh Allen.
nice. Nice. I
Yep.
kind of like that.
So we downgraded to Kyle Allen, in my
Yep.
opinion, and then we got our other guy back that we released, and then
Wow, I did not hear this
resigned him.
news.
So
Thank you,
pretty cool.
Stefan.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of news today, but I did not hear this.
Yep.
Dawson Knox restructure. Yeah, there's more to come. I mean, they still haven't even done Josh's, right? Josh Allen's.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
gonna free up huge cap space. Yeah, I agree. Weston Mitch Morse was the biggest shocker. And guess what? Now we're gonna see Mitch over in Miami. It's gonna be horrible. Miami needs some help at offensive line. I don't know. Do they have a good center? I think wasn't Keith looking for a center?
Yeah, because Connor Williams is a free agent this year too, and the Dolphins are in very similar situations that the Bills are with their cap space. They're kind of in cap hell themselves, so a lot of guys aren't going to be coming back for the Dolphins either, including Christian Wilkins.
Yeah. Let's see here. I catch up on everyone. Um, Brett saying 9 million over the cap. I saw different numbers. I saw anywhere from 2 to 9, depending on if you went to over the cap. If you go to overthecap.com, they had it at roughly at about 2.5. I saw an article that came out said we're a couple million over. So
Yeah.
interesting there. Yeah,
Sammy
there you
V
go.
saying maybe we'll pick up Kyrie Elam. Maybe I don't know if that was a reply to that or one of these other players. We can help restructure them. I love it. I love where your head's at. Listen, our office is not far from One Bills Drive, Mike. Maybe I can knock on some doors and see what the hell is really going on over there. See if there's something cooking up in Brandon Beane's mind. I mean, maybe I'll stand outside the stadium or something like that.
I feel like Sammy's got some connections there that he could kind of reach out and probably get to the higher ups. I mean,
He was invited.
This is your
He told
boss,
us
right?
it is. And he
Thanks
told
for
us
joining
this
us, Sammy.
morning. So
Yeah.
he's a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
And he's sitting in the clubs, right? So he's got a great spot. He was invited to the Buffalo Bills Stadium Experience. They have a special building now. I think it's in Williamsville or Amherst. But basically, they have designed this building to make it feel like what the new stadium is going to be like in 2026. You're going to be able to select your seats, get an idea of how everything's going to work, all that good stuff. So he's going to be going to that. I don't know when he has to schedule an actual appointment for it. So maybe while he's there, he can get a little more intel.
Yeah, definitely. What does he mean there? Maybe Liberty will.
Well, our company name is Liberty Solutions. So I'm wondering if maybe he meant like we can help. I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe he's been drinking some wine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, actually.
Does anyone know? I don't think anyone posted.
We're always late on the chat, though, so it's partially on us.
That's okay. That's okay. Somebody was concerned about what did we pay Mitch? Anyone know what the deal?
$8.5 million was. For Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitch, yeah.
I don't have the terms for that. I was actually looking on Sal Capacio's Twitter because he's usually pretty good with that. It did not say what those terms were. So, yeah, nothing yet on that. I don't see any new updates.
Yeah, so Weston had a question for you, Jake. Is the pressure now on Beane and McDermott now that they have to hit on draft picks?
Yeah, I think of any year now, it's probably this year where you're going to really see whether or not these dudes are capable of, and I think they are capable, but you're going to really see their true colors now because they've had to overhaul this roster essentially. You're removing a lot of those players that helped with the Bills' come up. So now you're going to have to bring in some younger talent, some cheaper labor, and there might still be a big move that they make. You just never know because Brandon Beane is very good, I feel like, at manipulating the cap space. Even though our boy Sean Cool, I know he's coming in on the comments on this show, and he's going to say, Brandon Beane screwed us. He was kicking the can down the road, and he's not totally wrong about that. But two things can be true. And I do feel like he is good at being able to manipulate the cap space and still get things done, even with a limited amount.
Yeah. Wump Donkey, totally agree. We were just saying that. I was like, my goodness, at work today, phone was going off often, and I was getting updates and text messages and all kinds of crazy information. And Jake and I had something else planned. We're like, you know what?
We're going to talk free agency.
We're going to put that on pause because all that came through today. Let's see here. What else we got? Track Review saying, I think we draft the center this year. I totally agree. We got 11 picks. Might as well, right? I mean, and again, though, I'm concerned. Who's he going to learn from, right? The young guy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we brought in Jack Anderson. We re-signed him to the team, but do I think he's the future at the center position? I don't. And the rumor is, of course, Connor McGovern is going to be switched over from guard to center. So it's not a totally foreign transition for him, but he hasn't played center in quite some time. So it is concerning. But maybe there was a reason why we traded Ryan Bates for a 5th-round pick. Maybe we plan on using one of those later-round picks to take a center. Who knows?
Anybody know of any free agents out there that might be on the cheap, that a good veteran center that might
On the cheap, I don't have any off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I've seen a few. I mean, I know Graham Glasgow is going to be a free agent. He's going to be way too expensive. Connor Williams, who we talked a little bit about, I think Rodney Hudson might be a free agent. So potentially we can get him on the cheap. I don't know.
And Trek Reviewer says I did like Jake's trade back, but the Leggett pick and the safety pick was bad.
The Leggett pick? Are you Trek Reviewer doesn't like Xavier Leggett? Are you kidding me right now? Come on now. He doesn't like so listen, Dadrian Taylor Demerson, all right? I know you weren't a huge fan of that pick, but he's a perfect fit for this Bills defensive scheme. He is your plug and play type of Micah Hyde safety. Like, he's a ball hawk. He had 4 interceptions this past year, and he's not afraid to get physical. He can play at the line of scrimmage. He can play in the run game a little bit. 2-year starter. I think he also ran the fastest 40. Not that it matters that much, but Mike likes his numbers. Fastest 40 of any safety, ran 4.41, 38-inch vertical. Production's there, like I said. I think he's absolutely worthy of a 3rd rounder.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was fun. You guys, by the way, if you didn't catch the AFC Summit 4-round draft last night, go check it out after this show. Let's see. Weston's saying, but hey, guys, look on the bright side. You still got Alan Diggs and 11 picks. You're not in Denver's position right now and don't have $85 million in dead cap on one player for 2 years. And listen, Weston, like I said, of these 5 players that we're going to talk about, I'm not shocked other than Mitch, and explain my reasons why. But let's I think we caught up, man. Chat is just, they're like catching up with us. Like, what the heck went down today while I was at work?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jake. You're only 5 minutes from the stadium. Are you getting these alerts? Like, do you have some
I was getting them real time. Yeah, I was. I was getting a ton of them real time, and I actually wanted to just drive over there on my way home from work, but I didn't. Probably should have, just to see if there were some players leaving the facility or how that all worked. Wonder if they called them or if they actually brought them in physically to, like, say their official goodbyes. Curious to see how that all went down.
All right. Probably the second surprise for me, not a total surprise, but Jordan Poyer. I thought maybe they would do something. I mean, just because of his experience. Look, we got Taylor Rapp. Great. I just wanted his leadership to stay with us. I didn't think he would be a full-time starter this year, but I thought we could keep him and, again, leverage his smarts, his leadership, his experience, and help whoever else was going to be, taking over more snaps there in safety. So what do you think about Poyer? And again, I love these guys. Poyer, a big one, but not a surprise. But of the 5, that's one. You and I even said it when we predicted it. I was pretty sure they're going to bring him back. So your thoughts on Jordan?
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that one too. It doesn't come as a total shock just because we did talk a little bit about how much money we could save by releasing him. So I get it. But it would have been nice to keep a veteran guy, especially when we know Micah Hyde was going to be leaving. So yeah, that one hurts a little bit too, because he was the heart and soul of our defense. And that dude, you could always count on him to make a play when it mattered most. But you saw the drop off last year, and with the injuries combined with that, it just isn't a good scenario for Buffalo right now. So I wish him well. I'm curious to see if he does go and sign with another team or if he ends up retiring. It's going to be an interesting free agency period, that's for sure. But I'll say this too. I have gotten used to playing without guys like Jordan Poyer, Trey White, and even Mitch Morse. He's been banged up a little bit himself. So, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world to not have them. I mean, obviously their impact is felt when they are not on the field, but we were able to mask it to a certain extent.
I think the only thing about that, though, Jake, Mitch was healthy all year last year. And with that, with the adding of McGovern, with Torrance, I mean.
The line that was our most consistent piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's Stefan saying out there that Jason Kelsey is a free agent right now.
Technically, he is, because he retired. He filed his
right?
retirement papers. So he is. I mean, I don't know if the Eagles still would technically own his rights if he did come back, but yeah.
Bills and Chiefs will just switch. I'm sorry, not the Chiefs, but the Philly. Yeah. But he's Mitch was a Chief at one time.
Yep.
That's where he started. So yeah, Jordan Poyer again. Again, I didn't expect him to be a full-time starter. I expected him. The Bills like to rotate. Usually, don't like to rotate in the safety, but they kind of did it last year. I mean, we saw Taylor Rapp coming in. I saw times where Poyer wasn't in there, so he started to kind of do that last year. But again, not a total surprise. The next two, no surprise at all. Deonte Harty, we kind of called that one on our last show or 2 shows ago. And then Siran Neal, I know, first of all, I don't want to just skip over Jordan Poyer. Mitch Morse, Trey White, Jordan Poyer. Phenomenal. What they've did for Buffalo is really special. And we appreciate your time here. But it is a business, unfortunately. It's a rough business. And damn, could they not have just slow rolled this, Jake? They had until the 13th.
I know.
Could they not have said, like, one guy, give me a day to absorb? All right, Mitch has been cut. And then they throw on Trey. And then they throw on, Poyer. And I'm like, my goodness. But there were some good things that came out, too, with the restructures. But Deonte Harty, not a surprise at all. But Siran Neal, I mean, since I've known you, you've talked up Siran Neal. And that was a guy, he's one of the fastest guys on the Bills. Big, never really got an opportunity other than the preseason last year. I saw him in preseason. I'm like, so much. I'm like, damn, are they shopping him? But I gained a lot of respect from what I saw of him in the preseason. You liked what he did against Kelsey at times when they put him on him. But, and that's a guy that could have potentially played safety as well. So what's your thoughts on Siran, man? How you feeling about that
I'm going
one?
to miss him. I mean, I'll always remember the one visual of him lining up at gunner, and there were 3 Kansas City Chiefs lined up against him, and he had a battle through that, and he still was able to make a tackle. Hell of a special teams guy. Problem was, I think it just came down to a numbers game. And unfortunately, for Trek Reviewer at least, we are going to be keeping Cam Lewis, it appears, most likely. I know he's technically a UFA, but I have a feeling we're going to be bringing him back to back up Taron Johnson at the nickel corner position. So either that or we'll draft Cam Hart, one of the two. I know you would prefer the Cam Hart move, but
Jake, I don't even think you need to waste your breath on that. Cam Lewis is coming back 100%.
We got to have a thing called Cam Watch, Definitely have to do that for sure. Yeah, I think it was just a numbers game at the end of the day, and unfortunately for him, he just served more of a purpose as a special teams player. So now this is a guy where you can maybe envision, if he doesn't sign with another team, testing the market and then coming back and re-signing on a cheaper deal.
Yeah, I got some questions for you here. Go Bills podcast. Jake, what's your opinion on Aaron Brewer at center?
Really good pass blocker, a little undersized. I think he's only like 275 pounds. Like, he is a smaller center, but he holds his own, and he's done a really nice job in Tennessee. I wouldn't mind it, but honestly, I think I almost like the Connor McGovern switch to center better.
Mike and Jake, Birmingham Stallions saying, Mike and Jake, did you see all the O-line prospect Bills meeting with? I did not. Has that been?
No, I didn't actually.
Has that been released? Is that out there? Who are some of those names, BSP, that you're seeing?
Yeah,
Stefan giving us a Sabres update 1-1 for any hockey fans. We got hockey fans here.
Hey, don't hold your breath. But I was at the game Sunday night, Stefan, and let me tell you, although we were getting outplayed, I was feeling pretty good. 2-1 with 9 left. I'm like, all right, we're going to coast this one out. And at the worst, it goes to a shootout or overtime, right? But 5-2, man. I mean, it's just a gut-wrenching loss again.
Let's see here. I think there was another. So BSP saying, yeah, Siran Neal would be welcome back at $1 million. He's going to get more than that. I mean, what's the vet minimum these days?
I actually don't know. It's got to be something like that. 1.25 million, something like that. 1.5 million.
Brett, what's the vet minimum these days?
Brett's great with the financials, by the way.
Yeah,
Brett, you should be
he really is.
Guy, Seriously.
Oh man, what is Trek Review saying? Cam Lewis was the number 2 steen on the back round of the Bills D last season.
Man. Keith asked you the question too, Trek Review. I don't know if you saw that in the Discord, but he did ask, where does this beef, like, what does this date back to? What is the history behind you and Cam? Is it just like you never liked him to begin with? Because he's a University of Buffalo guy too. I feel like you got to root for a guy like that. I don't know.
I think it came from when we were doing our, we were talking about the 53-man roster last year, and I
Yeah,
was saying, Cam, there's no way, Cam. And, he saw it and he's like, I
he's got to
disagree.
stick
And
to his guns.
it's
Yeah,
been fun. It's been fun. I love it. It's a lot of fun, actually. Maybe
yeah,
maybe we should have some merchandise out there that says "Cut Cam."
yeah. Right.
Well, speaking of merchandise, we have big stitch embroidery and
Oh
apparel.
yeah.
We got $100 giveaway that we're going to announce on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, on our Rush Hour show. 9
Guess who
p.m.
just got
Eastern.
in too? By the way, the
Who's
comment
that?
right here. My dad
Oh,
just got into that contest. He put it in the Discord. I don't know
beautiful,
if you saw it,
beautiful.
Mike. So
I
he's
was
in. I showed him how.
I was hitting up everybody yesterday. I go, Big L, I know you gotta, because Big L got in the Discord when we were having some other contests before, some
Yeah.
trivia or something. And I knew he had an account. So thanks for helping him out. But yes, in the description of the show, there's a link. Join the Discord. Go on over to the giveaway thread. You'll see it says Big Stitch embroidery and apparel giveaway. Say hi to us. Say hi to another channel. You're in $100 right now. Your odds are good. I think we only got like 3 or 4 people in it. So I'm
And
not
it's
sure what.
any custom apparel, guys. I mean, it's not just
Yeah,
Buffalo things. You could send him any
yeah.
logo. You could have it screen printed, stitched, you name it, embroidered onto a hoodie, a t-shirt, a hat, socks. I mean, you name it. So not
I'm
bad.
not
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the fear is of Discord. If you have kids, they're gonna think you're hip, man. They're gonna be like, "Dang, Dad, you're in Discord now."
Yeah.
Because Discord's
Right.
used for, the gaming, the streamers. They like to go on,
Yeah.
you use that, but we use it all the time just to keep, talking about all the things we love to talk about. All right, what do we got down
Speaking
here?
of, I do have
Yeah,
to say too, before we get into this comment,
yeah.
talking to my dad today, he didn't realize like how you actually subscribe to a YouTube channel. Now, I'm not knocking him for not being technically savvy or anything like that.
Okay.
So I do want to put it out there. He's like, you might want to mention it because I know there's a couple older folks. No offense, Roy. You did say you're turning 60. And Mike,
60,
I
yes.
know, Mike, listen, I know you're creeping a little bit,
I am.
So,
I know.
but to those folks that, don't typically use YouTube all the time, to subscribe to the channel, you click on the channel name. So on that logo, right, the Nickel City Mafia logo, you click on that name, and as soon as it brings you to the channel, there's that subscribe button. You'll see it'll literally say subscribe. Click it, and then there's also a bell notification too that you can click on the videos and on the channel in general. That'll give you notifications when we go live. So little tip for you guys: like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for remembering that. I
Yes.
always forget. I think too right now. Actually, we don't have it there. There was a way I had it right there on the screen, but yes, Jake told you. Let's see here. What do you got? So Brett saying 1.8 million. That's the vet minimum.
Okay, that's not bad.
Dang, that's actually a little lower than I thought, but hey, that's good money. I
Yeah,
wouldn't complain.
I'll take that
Um,
money.
Answering your question, Tredavious says Cam is the worst DB I've ever seen on the Bills. Oof.
I don't know, man. I just don't
Jake
buy
can
that. I've
name a
seen a lot of
handful.
bad DBs. All right,
Jake, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jake, you're only right down the street. Sneak in the Beans office, put a bug so we can all scoop the latest. Wouldn't that be incredible? That'd be
I
amazing.
think we should do it. Yeah, I'll do it.
No, Roy is. Roy is turning
Roy is, yeah.
60. I think
Next week, he said.
Is it this weekend or next week?
Next week. Next week, I believe. If you're still out there, Roy. Next week,
Yeah.
what day? Because we're gonna sing to you.
Yeah, we're
If
gonna
it's
sing
during one of
to
our shows.
you. Actually, I had a free agent all lined up. I was gonna do it just for Roy, not a guy that I think would have been. We were gonna do realistic free agents, so we're gonna do that Sunday. We still have time to do it, but I'll have something for Roy that night. Let's see here. What else we got? Um, Brett's asking, will they embroider
Oh yeah.
underwear? Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep. Definitely.
Hannah's looking at me right now, like, what are you talking about? All right, I see Colt out there, my coworker coming in down in the green room. Colt will be with you shortly. Just pick up some wings. We got some wings down there, some wings from Buffalo, and we got some pizza. Colt's one of our experts for the Messi versus Ronaldo. We're going to talk football, more football in a little bit, just a little different. So let's see.
I was going to say too. Where's I going with this? There was something I wanted to say too. I'll get back to it.
All right.
I will get back to it.
Big L's 63.
Yep.
You want to talk a lot of history. Big Al goes back into the early, to the late 60s when the Bills. That's one decade that I don't really have any. I didn't get to see anything. Was way too young, but I hear a lot of stories from my dad, so I'm sure you get to hear a lot of those good stories as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
Oh, yeah.
here. GBP.
Go Bills
GBP.
podcast.
Oh,
Brett is 27, just turned 27 not too long ago, right, Brett?
nice.
Heck yeah. Listen, I'm the big 3-0 right now, so I heard things really go south after 30. So
Real quick, do you want to kind of just go over, the players that we've restructured? Obviously, we learned today, or I learned that Mitch was signed, which is I kind of like that move. But can you kind of go over all the restructures that you're aware of? I know Von Miller restructured. I
yeah.
know Russell,
So
Douglas, and then what other ones?
yeah, so the Von Miller thing is actually not a restructure; it's a renegotiation.
Okay.
So if it were to be a restructure, we would basically push that money he's owed right now into another, few seasons down the road. So this is technically his, because he was signed to a 6-year deal, basically with 3 years of guaranteed money. Von did us a solid. He took a pay cut essentially. So he's only going to be making $1.5 million in base salary. And then I think he can make up to 20 million total this year with other incentives. But he's going to save us 8.6 million this year. So
Nice.
pretty incredible. Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's hope we see his production go back to what we saw, at least 80 to 90% of
Sure.
a couple years ago. That would be fantastic. We're going to need it. But guys, look, we're keeping this to an hour. We have another segment here in a couple minutes. Final thoughts on what happened today, Jake?
I can't wait to see what happens more after this.
Ooh.
I mean, we re-signed Taylor Rapp already,
Yep.
right? We get Mitch Trubisky, and the Mitch Trubisky thing will not be official until next Wednesday at 4:00 because he is technically a free agent. And some of the teams, I think it was BSP or someone else asked the question, like they didn't realize that free agents could start basically visiting teams now. If they have special permission from their team that they were under the contract with prior, they are allowed to go and visit other teams. So Mitch Trubisky was one of those guys. Because the Steelers actually just released him, they said, hey, you can basically go shop yourself around and, make yourself available for teams so you could sign during that free agency period.
Yeah, Weston, I was listening to that on the way home. I have a nice hour and 20-minute drive home, and I was listening to the Buffalo Plus, and I think they were more joking about that. But you never know. You never know what his plan is. But I would be shocked if they were to take an offensive line in the first round. Absolutely.
Now,
shocked.
JPJ would be a really interesting move there. Now, Sean Kula, our boy, would be over the moon if the Bills went ahead and took JPJ. I mean, that'd be pretty incredible. Could keep Connor McGovern then at guard, JPJ at center. And then, I mean, maybe you make some moves there in the second round. You use some of those extra picks to move up a little bit, get an additional second rounder. I don't know, whatever it takes, but could be exciting.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to leave let our guest wait any longer. We're going to pivot over here. We'll after we get our guest, if we finish up with them quickly, maybe we'll talk a little more Bills. But let me bring on our guest here, Colt. We bring him onto the stage. Colt is our soccer, football expert here. He's one of a good friend of mine. Work with him. Been working with him for many years. And Jose was also going to join us. He'll be probably jumping on a little bit later. He said he had an emergency come up. So thank you, Colt, for joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you just fine.
These might not work with this.
All right. You can't hear us?
Timeout.
Timeout. That's all right. Well, let me tell you why we're talking about this. So Messi versus Ronaldo. It's a highly debated topic, been going on for years. And the reason why I thought it'd be fun, because first of all, yeah, just lower your speakers there a little bit, Colt, so we don't get that feedback. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I think you got it. Hopefully you can still hear us.
I got another set of Bluetooth here. I can try one moment.
Yeah, so what happened is my son, he asked me a lot of questions. My son's been playing club soccer now for about 4 years. And, back in the day, I used to work with some folks, and I really never took soccer serious. And I know a lot of people are like, what do you mean, Mike? Well, football. I'm talking NFL football. That's the real sport, right? And I had a friend that I worked with from Brazil. And man, he would give me a lot of crap. He's like, Mike, have you really watched any soccer? Football, he called it. We're going to call it football. We're going to respect it. It's another form of, it's not the American football. So he said, Mike, have you ever watched football? I'm like, no, I'm like, how hard is it, man? It's the first sport that we have all our kids playing. All they got to do is run around, kick a ball. I mean, it's not that difficult, really. He goes, he's like, are you serious?
He was taken aback by that one.
Right. He was like, are you serious? Have you really watched one? I said, well, I've seen them when World Cup's on. I go down and with my friends and I'll check out a game or two. But as my son's gotten involved with it, and he's been in football now for 6 or 7 years. And like I said, he's been playing club football for 4 years. And he's now he's coming to me with these questions. Who's better? So this is for you, Jonah. I brought on some experts here. Hopefully Jose can join us. But Colt, are you able to hear us okay? Everything good? All right, you're muted. So let me go to you first. So let's talk about the Messi versus Ronaldo. You said it was an easy decision, but all those facts you were spitting out earlier, I'm like, dude, you got to come on the show tonight. By the way, very cool background with the guitars,
I love it,
man. Very cool.
Well, if we're talking about backgrounds, I also want to say I'm really jealous of your basement, Jake.
Thank you, sir.
Coasters don't have any of that set up for sure. And every time I go to the East Coast, I get hardcore jealous of what you guys have. So
thanks, man.
The grass is always greener, right?
Yeah. Well, at least you're not dealing with like 8 feet of snow. So put it that way, I guess, right?
Touche. I think this is a complicated question, which is why it rages throughout everybody that is a fan of the game. Very different players, right? And they've both accomplished a ton of stuff. So it's hard to say that one's the greatest or not. And I think it depends on the perspective that you have going into the debate, right? From the Ronaldo side, the guy is a physical specimen. He's won the Ballon d'Or many times. I think one of the things that Ronaldo can say over Messi is that he's competed in basically all of the leagues in Europe, with the exception of the Bundesliga. And he's now competing in Saudi Arabia, which is interesting. But he played in England. He played in Portugal. He played in Spain. He played in Italy. He played, in all the top leagues of the world. And Messi kind of played in La Liga, which is the Spanish league, for the majority of his career for Barcelona, which is like, why would you want to leave one of the most elite clubs that exists on the planet? But Ronaldo played for several of the most elite clubs. He played for Manchester United. He played for Real Madrid, arguably the most famous team in the world. And then he went to Juventus, which is one of the most famous teams in Italy, and has won more Scudettos than, almost any other team in the Italian league. So he's done a lot in every league, which is a testament to him as an individual, right? He's the epitome of hard work pays off. Talent's nothing without hard work. The guy is one of the most fit people on the planet. Even at his age right now, he's able to compete with people that are much younger than him because he stays in that top shape. And I would say that's a big contrast to what Lionel Messi is. He's a small little dude from Argentina that moved to Spain as a little kid with his dad to join what they call the academy system in Europe. We don't have anything like this here in the States, where kids can be in middle school essentially and they don't go to school anymore. They go to these academy systems, and they're basically an employee of this team at that point since a young age. And their only job is to basically learn how to play soccer. And obviously they learn some basic, math and some things that help them with life. But their number one job is to become a professional soccer player. And not everybody even is afforded the opportunity to get what they call the first team, which is the team that is competing on a weekly basis in all of the different competitions that a given club is competing in on a yearly basis. But Messi moved to Spain from Argentina as like a little kid, and immediately caught the eye of the coaches, the famous people in history, the Thierry Henrys, the Ronaldinhos. They saw this young kid that had, just amazing talent in his left foot, who was not a physical specimen. He's actually a little tiny person. His name in Spain, what they call him, is La Pulga, which means the flea. Like
5'7", man.
Yeah, he's not a big dude. He's not super fast. He doesn't possess all of these attributes that like a Ronaldo would bring to your team, but he's arguably the best player that's ever existed. And I think winning the World Cup, from my perspective, probably cements that status over Ronaldo, because he now has that feather in his cap as well. But they're completely different players, and it's hard to say that one guy's better than the other. I think it would depend on what the team needs, right? Soccer is a team sport, and you could insert the best quarterback in football. If he's got shitty receivers, it's probably not going to make a difference if they can't catch the ball. So it's always a give and take. And I think Ronaldo would probably have huge impact to your team immediately, just because of what he's capable of doing. He can take free kicks. He can head the ball. He can score left foot, right foot, and he's still, again, that strong physical specimen of a human being, and the most followed human on the planet. And I think he's got like 1 billion followers on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's super wild. But Messi has done things that amaze professionals that are amazing in their own right. You know, if you listen to the testimonies of players that they have trained with him and been with him, like, he does things that, as they would call, like, not normal. This is like not normal behavior for a human being to make 100 free kicks out of 100, you know. And the guy on the field is a German, and the goalie's a German, and he talks to him in German, like, "What are you doing? Just stop the shot." And he's like, "I can't stop the shot. He's putting it in the top V every single time. What do you want me to do?" You know, if he misses, we're like, the guy is sick. Like, something's wrong with him today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's just all these anecdotal stories from guys that played with these professionals. And I think if you ever take the energy to look into how they speak about it, I think you could probably find your own answers.
Yeah, Ronaldo, I mean, in comparison, he's 6'1", 180, the best in the box, one of the best headers. And I asked, so this was crazy. Like, I started asking this, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, he's the poster child for soccer. I mean, put him on a poster and everyone wants to, you know, get his hair cut, you know, go into the barbershop and say, yeah, give me a haircut like Ronaldo. But I asked Greg, so I was asking this question the last couple of days to people, and I was just amazed at how many people were, you know, first of all, I knew Colt loves soccer. I didn't know he knew it to the depth that he does. We're learning that now. Greg is another coworker that I have. Didn't know he, you know, I know he's a big football guy. He pretty much talks. I think, Colt, you said he's like an encyclopedia of any of any sport, right? It's kind of like Jake. Jake's an encyclopedia for football. Guy knows everything. Well, stuff before he was, yeah, American football. But here's what Greg had to say when and I'll ask you the question too. If we're in the playground and we're starting a team and Messi and Ronaldo are there, you're the captain of the team. You have to pick one to start your team. I asked Greg that, and he said he gave me some points on Messi. So let me read, and both of them. Let me read that. He said Messi, unparalleled success at Barcelona, goals and assists. He's a World Cup champion. Now, both of them had been to 5 World Cups. Messi was the one who finally got one. Ronaldo does not have one. He says Messi is a great goal scorer and amazing facilitator, making everyone around him better, you know, compared to like a Steph Curry in the NBA, facilitating, but he can still make those big plays when he needs to. And that's like what Messi can do. He's got approximately 100 more assists than Ronaldo in fewer games played. And then for Ronaldo, he says, great goal scorer and the best attacking header of the ball, and it's not even close. He says he's not the facilitator that Messi is, and is a much more selfish goal scorer and player. You kind of talked about that earlier with me, Colt. He said Ronaldo's prowess is shown in dominating the best leagues in the world, Manchester United twice, which is the English Premier League, Real Madrid, and Juventus. I'm probably butchering some of these names. He dominated in all 3 leagues, won a Euro championship with Portugal. And before I started having these, and then he said both Messi and Ronaldo have had amazing success in the Champions League, the best club European tournament in Europe. And before I started having these conversations, I was all about Ronaldo. Is he 6'1", 180? Jake, when we're talking football, what do I say? Don't talk to me if you're under 6 feet. And now we got
what's your now question for you, Mike. Yeah. Soccer. You got to kind of bring that down a notch for size, because you're not seeing T'Vondre Sweat out there running, kicking the soccer ball, right?
Right.
What's your size limitations and what's your expectations?
I
What's the
really
standard?
I really don't have one, I guess. I mean, I'm seeing this 5'7" guy be the best of all time. And I think even, you can go back to the days of Pele. And Pele was a pretty short dude as well. Small guy. But Cole, what's your thoughts on what I think it lines up? Was there any disagreement? The only thing that he disagreed with is that he thought he can make a team better right away than Ronaldo. And you kind of said Ronaldo would be that guy that can, add him to a team. He's going to make them much better. Whereas, Messi needed more support around him.
Well, it's always a team sport, right? And I feel like the Steph Curry analogy is a great one when you look at Messi. Steph Curry can shoot threes all day long, but he can also facilitate the game to any other scoring player to elevate their game, right? I think Ronaldo is probably a guy who is maybe more in the vein of like a Shaq, where it's like you can put Shaq on any team and he's going to get in the key and pass me the ball and I'm going to dunk that shit on somebody. You know what I mean? He's just a given goal scorer. His job is to get under the basket and score goals. And Ronaldo's job is the same thing. Get in the box, headers, left foot, right foot, free kick. It doesn't matter. He's capable of doing all of those things. But I think Messi can also unlock a lot of other people's potential, and he plays in a little bit different capacity than what Ronaldo does. Ronaldo is like a true striker, number 9, if you will, winger. They're both wingers, but I think Messi has traditionally come a lot deeper into midfield to receive the ball and facilitate the play that the coach wants and designs against the opposition. And he is the focal point of the attack, regardless wherever the coach wants him to be. And he just walks around until he finds that right spot that he's got to be. And then unlike a lot of players, when they get the ball and they pass it or they pass backwards, Messi almost exclusively is like starting to dribble with the ball and take people on, which is really difficult to do in soccer. But he's probably one of the top 3 in the world that have been able to do that. Neymar is another name that comes to mind when it comes to just attacking one-on-one. These guys are very cheeky, as the British would say. They're good at like faking and doing things to convince the guy that he's doing one thing and they do a completely other thing. He's sat people down on their ass that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. Made them look like, amateurs, and they're the best in the world. So there's not a lot of guys that can do that.
I like your comparison too, because I was going to use it too. I used Curry. I was going to say Ronaldo's more like that Shaq. So that was perfect that you said that. I feel like Messi also, like you said, he the dribbling ability in him is fantastic. So if I compare it to another sport, I think it's like a hockey player who can go end to end, take it all the way down. And Messi's that type of guy. I mean, he, like you said, he plays at midfield. He'll have that ball longer, whereas Ronaldo is in the box more. Don't get me wrong, Ronaldo has an amazing shot as well. But so Messi, think of him like that. The guy can go end to end. He can facilitate. He can score. And if you look at their stats, and I'm not going to rattle them off, but they're so close, Cole. Number of goals, assists, it's pretty crazy if you look at it that way.
I think as we get older, we'll be very nostalgic about, at least us soccer fans, will be very nostalgic that we got to live in an era that had these players in general. And the fact that they existed at the same time and competed for all of these honors and trophies, and they were in the same league for a while. One was at Real Madrid, which again is arguably the most famous team in all of the football world, the soccer world. I was actually just in England, and they're very proud of their sport as well. They call our football catch. It's like, I don't know why you guys call it football. You should just call it catch. But
that's funny.
Agree.
Barcelona is arguably right up there with Real Madrid, and one played for Barcelona and one played for Real Madrid, and they call that match the Clasico. And we got to see those guys compete against each other and score more goals than most people will score in 10 lifetimes. You know what I mean? Which is pretty rad to have seen both of these people compete.
It's kind of like us in the NFL. You got Josh Allen, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Joe Burrow, all these great talents. It's fantastic to be alive and be able to see this and tell our grandchildren someday. Let me bring on Jose. Jose, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
I was
Awesome.
troubleshooting my headset, but the one that I normally use it was out of battery. But
Oh,
I'm
no
ready.
worries. But we hear you just loud and perfect. So Jose is also works for me. I meet a lot of great people, Jake, that work with me.
Yeah, you
I
do.
mean, Jose, he's out of Dallas, but he was in our facility recently. Got to meet him. Got to go out to lunch with him. He was born in Valenzuela. He was moved to Argentina for like 4 years.
That's
Jose,
correct.
and
Yeah.
you've met Colt. I hope Colt's upstairs. Did you get to meet Colt?
Yes, I made
Uh,
Cole
all right,
already.
fantastic. So we've kind of been talking the Messi versus um, Ronaldo, and I kind of got your take at lunch when we had the luxury of going out when you were here. But can you
Mhm.
kind of give us your take and why you think that person's better than the other?
Well, it's been like things that I've been noticing in the last couple of years. Their fight or the fight that fans were made by the past of the years is something that I think is funny, is entertaining to see. I always say that both of them can be in the same team. They are not like uh, playing in the same position. They are not interfering on their thing that they do, because usually Messi is the one who build the game. He can be the one who build the plays for every tactics that they do. And Ronaldo, as the past of the year, he was like he was playing by the left side. Then he moved out when he noticed that he was starting to run slower as the younger guys that are playing right now. And he's now a forward guy that he's crushing when he started playing with Real Madrid. My years, I also explained to Mike, I'm a very, very, very big fan of Real Madrid, and Ronaldo was part of the people that, or the guy that make history. He broke records. He made the team to won a lot of trophies, especially the three Champions League in a row, with different teams, different DTs, and he has something special in my heart. It's for the team especially. But Messi it also has something special in my heart. I lived in Argentina, as Mike said, for 4 years, and uh, I was part of the people that was in the country when they won the Copa America, which is the, let's call it like the European Cup for the I think in America they call it CONCACAF champions, where we usually play Central America countries, U.S. and Canada. In South America, it will be all the South America countries, and they won it after, I think, 14 years, and I was part of it, and it was really good. The people were super happy, and Messi and the team made history. And after that, once I moved out to the US, they won the World Cup, and it was even bigger. So basically that.
Yeah. I mean, both Colt and Jose, I mean, you know, I think you touched on a Colt, but what does Argentina or Venezuela, or I think you were in the UK, Colt, or wherever you were recently, um, do they laugh at American football? Are they even interested in American football?
No, laugh is definitely not at all. I think they laugh at why we call it football. Again, they think it should just be called catch. But there's a ton of people that are absolutely interested in American football because it's different than traditional sports. Actually, in England, cricket is like amazingly popular. I met a bunch of people on the tube, right? Another thing that we don't really have on the West Coast, but riding the metro all around and talking to people, cricket is extremely popular. But everybody does support a club team in England generally, and this also persists in most of Europe, where you have multiple divisions, right? So, like in England, you have the Premier League, which is like think about it as the top tier, But there's also a championship and League One and League Two and League Three. And this is where you have the relegation system, which is why I find soccer so fascinating, is there's only 20 teams basically allowed in each of these different divisions. And the more you go spread out through England, right, you have London, which has like 10 teams alone in London. And most of them are in the Premier League, but some of them are in the Championship, and some of them are even in lower divisions. And as you get out into the countryside, you'll have these clubs that are supported by these little communities, and they exist in like the 4th division, but they have an opportunity to go up and down, and they could potentially be in the Premier League if they got a bunch of amazing young kids that all like cohesively played well together. They could, ascend to one of these leagues that's making tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of TV rights every single year, which is really cool in comparison to the franchise system.
Of course, and especially with the UK, where they have the best franchise related to the TVs, especially. They spread the money very well on the UK. That's why, well, basically, UK has the best, in my opinion, the best league in the world, which is Premier League. Because every team is like, of course, a lot of money, and it especially is spread in a really good amount for each team. So every team is like packed with a really good team and players, where the one that is like in the bottom of the list could be the one in the top, which is fun. And that's depending on the leagues, especially UK has a lot of relegation, as you mentioned. They have the Premier League, they have the second level, the third level, even like lowers. I think the third league is like for non-professional players. It's the same for Spain, where Real Madrid and Barcelona plays, and Argentina has it too, as I was part of it. I think the only country, or the one that I know that doesn't have like regulations related to football, and it would be on Mexico. Mexico doesn't have a regulation league.
Interesting.
So,
Have both of you guys been able to experience a soccer game in another country? Because, from what I see on TV, man, it reminds me of like going to a Philadelphia Eagle game here, if we were to see American football, where you're taking your life in your own hands if you're cheering for the other team.
Mike obviously is bringing up a story I just shared with him. So the reason we were in England was we went to a game, Chelsea versus Liverpool in a cup final. And
Wow.
it was a pretty wild experience on my side, my first international soccer experience. So this tournament is held at Wembley Stadium, which is England's largest stadium. It's kind of their international kind of where they host other countries, and it has 100,000 people in it. And you get off the tube, and there's just a sea of people lining up to queue into this stadium. There's bars that if you're wearing the red colors, you better not come into this bar, and subsequently blue colors, you don't come into this side. They keep all of the gates unique to the team you're supporting. You actually can't even get tickets unless you tell them which team you're supporting, to, again, keep the oil and water a little bit separate.
Wow.
And then inside the stadium, it is 100% 50-50 split. Half the team was red, half the team was blue. It was obviously popping in there. The Liverpools, the Scousers is what they call them, were very raucous, as you could imagine. Something we found out, you cannot drink at your seats in England. You're only allowed to have drinks inside the stadium, like at the vendor area. They don't allow drinks at seats anymore to prevent hooliganism and probably some other things that I heard stories that I won't share on this podcast. But it was a very eye-opening experience, and it was really cool to have gone and seen it. The team that we supported was Chelsea, and they did lose to Liverpool, unfortunately.
Oh, man. Now, do they separate? Obviously, they probably have separate seating areas. They probably have to do that, or no?
Oh, yeah. So, again, one side of the stadium's all the red Liverpool supporters. Okay. The other side's all Chelsea blue. And there's probably about 200 police officers that are on about every other stair in between those sections, keeping them separate.
Riot gear, just ready to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's wild, man. Cool.
So, I mean, if you're go up to where the you go to get a drink and you want to walk around the stadium, do they block you? Do you have to like prove that you're part of the blue team? You got to show a ticket?
Yeah, so as we were, obviously rookies here, walking up, we were just trying to wet our palate as we'd been doing in our European adventure. But it was very obvious to the bouncers which team you were supporting, and they gave you the quick 411 that you don't want to come in here, mate, because this is not going to be a great experience for you. You should go down there to the section where all the blue people are. Like,
wow.
They should have that, Jake, at the NFL stadiums for some teams.
I know what the heck. They just mix all of us.
Mix us right in. But
right?
you kind of know what you're getting into. You better stay quiet, else you're gonna be in trouble. Jose,
I think the hooligans forced their hand on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jose, have you experienced that at all?
Yes. So my experience, it was like similar to Cole, but I will say that it was even worse because on my first game was in Argentina. It was a game with River Plate, which is, I think, is the biggest soccer team on Argentina. As Cole was mentioned, there's a lot of clubs in London, especially as he said, like they are like maybe 15 or 20 in all leagues, only in London. The Argentina league is pretty much the same because there's like 15 or 20 teams, all based in Buenos Aires, which is the capital, and they're all spread in all the parts and the streets, where they call it, with where all the areas are. There's the biggest team. Well, the biggest game on the league is Boca Juniors and the River, which both of them are in Buenos Aires, and they have the most threatening fans related to the hooligans, I would say. Yeah, it's super fighting. And my experience was with River. I went to their stadium, which is I think it's one of the biggest stadiums in Argentina or in South America. I think it holds like 80,000 people. I think now with the new they did some improvements to it, and it was against a small team. I think it was with Barracas, which is also a Buenos Aires team. But a funny thing is that in Argentina, or yeah, under a league of Argentina, they don't allow away people. So since I was just reading a news about it, and since 2013, they don't allow any away people to be on the stadium where your team is playing. So if, for example, Boca and River, they're playing on Boca Stadium, there's only Boca Juniors fans.
Wow.
The same thing with River. That is only happening on the league, the Argentinian league, because of a lot of things that happens, as Paul mentioned, and they don't allow alcohol too. But I think they don't allow even like to go and pick it up something and go back. No, they don't allow it at all. There's only water or sodas, basically.
Talk about home field advantage. Holy cow. All of
Yeah.
one team's fan base. That's it.
Yeah, correctly.
I do like the no alcohol. I feel like they should implement something like that. I know fans would hate to hear that, but come on, man.
Not here.
I think they should
Actually,
implement
it
no
probably
Coca-Cola, Mike.
What?
Are you a fan of no Coca-Cola?
No. But beer, I've been at the stand. I've been at many games, and just, oh my God, these people, they drink early on, come in the stadium, and it's danger sometimes to see what happens with these folks. But anyhow, I like that. So guys, I told you I'd keep you briefly. I thank you, man. Jose, you're a natural, by the way. You're looking good. Colt, listen, if we can get you on a contract, both you guys,
we need a soccer show.
You need a soccer show, football. Maybe we can work something out. But I'm going to ask you the question to finish this out. You're the captain. You're picking to start a new team. I'll start with you, Jose. Are you taking Messi or Ronaldo?
I will take both. I can take both.
No, you can't take both.
Yeah, I can take both. I can put Ronaldo as a forward in the center and Messi at the side, at the left side. He will give all the assistance to Ronaldo, and basically that will be the best.
They would dominate. But if you had to choose one, which one you going with to start your team?
I will go with Messi. Messi was a player that holds a lot of strain, and he was basically the best player for a lot of years. And he's still the last Ballon d'Or, which is the trophy that you win once you are the MVP of the whole season. So
Right.
I will go with Messi.
Yeah. Man, that's incredible. Colt, I know your answer, but I'm going to ask you so everyone can hear it. Messi or Ronaldo?
I mean, I completely agree with Jose. If you had both those players on your team, it would be devastating to the opposition. Both those guys in their prime were knife edges. You know what I mean? They can dribble out people. They have all the attributes. But for me, I gotta pick La Pulga. You know, the Messi does things that other guys don't do. Thierry Henry is one of the most famous soccer players ever, French legend. He's played for Arsenal and he played for Barcelona with Leo Messi. And he talks about Messi in training. And he's like, if somebody fouled Messi, he would look at the coach and be like, that's a foul. And the coach would be like, it's no foul, play. And he'd be like, give me the ball. Give me the ball. And he would start at the goal. And they're playing like 7-on-7 on like small field with, you know, at Barcelona, there's legends there. Piqué, you know, we're talking about Carlos Puyol, Rafa Marquez. All these guys are like the best players in the world. And he would just dribble through all of them. And Thierry Henry is like, you just watch Messi and like nobody can even touch the ball. And he scores a goal. And it's like, this is not normal. Like, this is not normal. Like, he does things that are amazing. And if you ever just get a chance to watch YouTube clips of Messi just destroying like 5, 6, 7, 8 players all by himself, like nobody does that.
And those were elite players you were telling me, right? His team was had elite players. So for him to take it from the goal and go all the way, you know, it's not. These aren't third, fourth stringers. These are, you know, elite players.
Yeah, there is a game I remember. Sorry, Cole, but I remember there was a game, Real Madrid and Barcelona, maybe like 10 or 15 years ago, where Messi he received a foul, and Busquets was holding the ball. Like, I think it was like just after the midfield, and he said, "Okay, I will go." He just ran and ran. He passed the ball to Busquets. He didn't do anything. He didn't touch the ball. He just let Messi run, and he passed like 4 players, and he just scored the goal. That was against Real Madrid. I think it was on Champions League, maybe like 15 years ago, and he still does it. If you see the World Cup last year, the goal against Croatia, I think it was. He just dribbled like a guy that was like 20 years younger than him and bigger than him, and he couldn't do anything.
That's crazy. That's the other thing I heard. Because of his size, teams target him. I mean, they got their big bullies trying to bully him a little bit, get in his mind. So he has to overcome that. Whereas no one's doing that to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's a big dude. Nobody gonna mess with him. But so he's able to overcome that. It's kind of like in the NFL, if you're gonna focus, we're gonna take away Kelsey. Take away Kelsey. So these teams come in and like, all right, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take away Messi, but he still gets it done. Same thing like Kelsey, just gets open. Why can't anyone, guard this guy? So good stuff. Great guy. Guys, I could talk about that all night. By the way, Jonah, this is for you. It's my son. So now you know the answer. These two guys are saying Messi. And I will say this, most of the people I asked, there were some Ronaldo fans for sure because of his size, his physicality, and what he's able to do. But I think right now there's a slight edge over on the Messi side. So guys, appreciate your time. Jose, thank you for jumping on. Colt, thank you so much. Say hi to Sarah for me.
Glad I finally got the invite to this exclusive podcast, man.
Colt, what you got in that? What type of vino are you sipping on right now?
We're doing a little Pinot Noir with our dinner that I rushed through to participate in Mike's podcast here.
Love it.
Mike and Jake's podcast. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hey, and he started it. Don't put this blame on me, all right? No, you guys
agreed
awesome,
that this is good for a couple work items. So
yeah, we agreed.
There we go.
I got some extra work now for our team.
Well, extra work for you guys because guess what? This was your audition. Every Thursday night, you guys are going live. You're talking soccer. So welcome to the City Mafia. There we go.
I would love to.
Oh man, we'll talk. We'll talk, buddy.
All right, Jose.
Right, you guys have a good one.
Colt's still a little hesitant. Next time I'll join you, by the way, Colt. I'm from Buffalo here, man. We don't let people drink alone. If I had been prepared, I do have an entire like shelf of bourbon over there. I also like my vino as well. I'm more of a bourbon guy, but I'll do both. I'll do it all, really. I don't care what you put in front of me. That's just how we're born and bred here in Buffalo. So next time, I will join you, sir.
You got a cool basement, guys. Hey, have a great night.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you too, guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care, man.
Nice to meet you both. Go Bills.
Well, that was fun, right? I mean, this is the rush hour. We like to talk about different things. And again, we had this planned. We're going to do some free agents, and we're going to talk about, I had lined up the guys already for the Messi versus Ronaldo. So definitely didn't want to lose the ability to talk to them. And as you can see, they know their stuff. And it's a fun topic. I mean, I was shocked at how many people, I was on calls today asking that question. And I could not believe the responses I was getting from folks. And it was fantastic. So
overwhelmingly Messi then, huh?
It was not overwhelmingly, but when you hear, so when I talked to three guys, I talked to another guy that I gave the notes on. Greg played D1 soccer in college. And those were his notes. And he also said it's Messi. So the three of them take Messi. And I agree. I mean, like I said, I was telling Jonah, it's got to be Ronaldo. He's bigger. I like those big guys. He's incredible in the box. But in the end, when you look at all the stats and when you hear everyone's, some guy just, I listened to a nice 30-minute podcast on the way home and all the stats he went through. At the end of that, I was like, there's no doubt it's Messi.
Yeah. Well, he's a big deal too. I mean, he comes and plays in the U.S. last year, right?
Yeah.
Playing for Miami. He's got his own security detail following him along on the sideline. I mean, running up and down with this dude. Like, this guy is larger than life. So I don't know a lot about football, but I do know Messi's name. And how could you not? I mean,
I like how we always say football. Like, we try to impersonate folks for that. So thanks, everyone. Hopefully, I know we kind of pivoted quickly, but you know what? When you got some people lined up, you don't want to be rude. And you want to.
They were awesome. I like those guys a lot. I think they need to. Like I wasn't joking. I think they got.
No, for a long time I've been telling guys, like, we just need a soccer podcast. So
we should. We got a Bills one. We got a hockey one.
Let's go.
We got golf. Let's get soccer involved. Come on.
All right. Well, listen, I know we probably lost a lot of our Bills fans, and that's okay. I'm going to split up that video, and I'm going to post just a segment just so folks can go listen to the soccer side of things, and then and then you can listen to us on what we talked about with the big cuts today. Like I said, Jake, to finish this out, not many people there with us right now, but I wasn't all that surprised. I was with Mitch, and that's really it. So don't think, oh my God, the sky is falling. We're donezo. I don't think that's the case at all. I think we're fine, right?
You can cut every single player on this team as long as you have JA-17. You're a playoff contender, so I don't care. Okay, I know a lot of people view this as a rebuild or a step backwards. I don't see it that way. We just resigned Taylor Rapp, okay? Yep. So we have veteran presence. A guy that started 5 meaningful seasons with the Rams wins the Super Bowl. And I thought pretty good price. 3 years, $14.5 million. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Good start there. Mitchell's back. He's Josh's backup QB. So we're doing big things already, guys. Stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. And with 11 picks in the draft, and you know how good Bean has been at hitting these late rounders, because a lot of those picks, Jake, are 5th, 6th, and 7th. Like, out of the 11, I want to say, what is there, 7 of them? 6 of them come after the
I think
4th round, something like that.
Yeah, I want to say that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's going to use some of those to move up. What do you think? I mean, are we going to make some moves up the board?
He's going to be making a play. We have 3 5th-round picks right now, Mike. Got to trade one of those, maybe 2 of those.
For sure. Right? I think, by the way, I was able to check you guys out yesterday. I was able to watch a little bit while you were live, but then I had to go, I got to give the Sabres Edge a little love. And I enjoyed your guys' show on the way into work today. And I love the draft you were about to get my boy, Kalen Bullock, at safety in the 4th. Couldn't believe it. I'm a little concerned. I'm a little superstitious. Is that a sign that we should stay away from him? I'm like, no, please don't say that's the case. Right? Because it just froze in you guys. But man, you were having a great draft. I think it was a little unrealistic with some of the, what was happening. You guys were saying that. And I think it might have been some of the settings you tweaked for some reason. Yeah. Man, it was crazy for some of those players that were still available. But it was
I thought it would be more realistic, but it turned out
it wasn't. It's almost
Yeah.
like use the default settings and you get better
Right.
results, more realistic. But yeah, I mean, some of these guys that were falling down, but down the board. But what's next for the next for the AFC Summit, which is every
Well,
Tuesday, 8 p.m.
yeah.
Eastern.
We're going to be at the height of free agency on next Tuesday at
Right.
8 p.m. So by then, we should have a pretty good idea of what's going down, and some of the bigger names will probably be off the board at that moment. So it's going to be an exciting show. That whole show is probably going to be dedicated to free agency. We'll be talking some of our prospects that, are still available that maybe we want our teams to sign. So we got a good one in the works for sure.
Yeah, and then Jake and I will be back Sunday night. And what we were going to do tonight was the top realistic free agents we could see signing for the Bills. Now there's definitely more with us freeing up
for
some
sure.
cap space and with these cuts. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll both have a list of 5. We were not going to share it between each other. So I'm sure we'll have some overlapping, but maybe not. We seem to differ a lot in those cases. So a lot of fun, buddy. A little over an hour again. I tried.
I don't
But
know how we
hey,
do it.
I don't know. I don't know how other shows do it. I just don't.
I don't
know.
either.
I just don't know. They don't take anything from the chat. Is the only thing I can think of.
Right. But I love what Stefan says here. We're ending on this note.
Yes.
In Bean we trust, baby.
Bean we trust.
Right.
Yep. Stefan, thanks for joining us, man. It's been a while. I hope you get to join us again soon, and I hope everything's going well with you. And again, look at all these. These are all my coworkers, man. We got Stefan.
Yeah.
We got Colt. We got Jose. Jose, man, dude he was in a jacket. I mean, he looked professional.
Look sharp.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
He's pretty tall too. I think he said he was going to try to he played goalie, and I forget what the story is why he got out of it. But man, I have a much more of an appreciation for the other football than I ever did 4 years ago. It's physical. My little boy, 11 years old, is getting dinged up all the time. He's had to wear 2 fractures to his arms. If you think it's not physical, go watch one of these games, man. It is super physical, and they're running up and down. Jake, you got to be super athletic.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. And he was a goalkeeper. Look at that.
There he is.
Jose,
right.
Jose, what's your height? How tall are you? What height and weight? Let's get the stats for you.
Stats. I want to say he's pretty close to 6 foot. Big guy.
Okay. All right.
How tall are you, Jose? I mean, he would make a great Goldsunder. And
is he in LA now? Are these guys? Are they all in California or
no? No, Jose he's based out of Dallas. I think he moved to the US in 2021. I think he told me he moved to the US there. He recently had a new baby. You are not 5'9", Jose. I am 5'9". You are towering over me. How's this field goal? Not really. That's all. I don't know.
Jose, can you be our field goal kicker here in Buffalo?
Yeah.
Any chance?
Yeah. How's your leg? Jose had recently had a new baby, so congratulations, Jose.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jake, having one soon. When's the baby due?
Yeah. July 19th. And I was just gonna say too, little MVP. Guess what we signed her up for? Soccer.
Oh, nice. There you go. There you go. I'm curious. I mean, we need to have a sweepstakes, although I think you've already locked it in, but who knows? We don't know. We'll probably have a sweepstakes and try to guess the name that you're coming up with for your little one.
Oh, I love it.
We do know, right?
We do.
It's another girl, right?
Yep, it's another girl.
All right. And I think, have you and the wife locked it in, but you're not allowed to say yet, right?
Yes. We're like 90% in, and I'm not allowed to say, otherwise I've been threatened divorce.
Yeah. Don't say it. Don't say it.
No, not really. But my wife's pretty lax, pretty carefree. But this is like one of those things where she's like, hey, just because what if I don't like it? And then we change it. Then we look like idiots. And I'm like, you think too much, but maybe I should think more. I kind of back.
Well, we're gonna do something.
I idle in the doghouse, so
we're gonna come up with some names and see if anyone can get close to guessing. Jose says he's never kicked a football in my life. Jose, I think you're converting centimeters to inches incorrectly. There's no way you're only 5'9". I'm telling you, you're nuts. So
I love it.
So that's good. I'm very excited to hear what the name of the new baby is going to be. I can't wait. I can only speculate, but I'm thinking it's going to be a curveball because here's what I'm thinking. The wife said, "Look, honey, I'll let you do your thing with our first
We
daughter.
did. Yep.
And I'm thinking we're going to go a little more traditional. We're going to name her after someone because the name was MVP. Was there any, can you say Maxie?
Yep. Maxwell Violet Podger.
Podger,
Maxie, we call her Maxie. Yep.
And was there one of the names was named after someone in the family?
No, actually, none of them were. Well, technically, I guess you could say the first name. So Riley, my wife, Riley, her brother's name is Max. His real name is Michael. We call him Max. So I guess you can kind of say it was named after him, but she actually always liked that name because Jessica Simpson had a daughter. She wasn't a big Jessica Simpson fan. She just liked her daughter's name, Maxwell. And I got on board because obviously Jessica Simpson.
Yeah.
Love. And guess who she's married to? Former NFL tight end Eric Johnson, who played with the 49ers.
Nice.
825 yards in 2004. Okay, Mike? So I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I'm like, all right, Maxwell. All right, perfect. M and P, you got to have a V in the middle to make it MVP.
Well, I think, like I said, I think I'm onto something. I think she's gonna be a little more traditional. She's gonna say this time we're naming them after some family members. I know your family member's name. I'm gonna have to get a little more information. I'm gonna ask some more questions. But we'll do something fun. I'm gonna put something out there. Try to guess Jake's the name.
I love that.
And we'll see what people come up with. We know that she named the first one MVP. So let's see. Gonna be fun. Again, thank you, Jose. Thank you to everyone out there. Appreciate you. Jake and I will see you this Sunday. And get into the Discord. Get into the Discord. I don't know why, Jake, people are afraid to use technology. I don't know. It's free. It's absolutely free.
Even Big Al's in it now, so you guys have no excuse.
Mean, if Big Al,
no technological skills at all,
63 years old,
right,
can get into our Discord. And Jose, I'm going to reach out to you and show you how to get in there because I want you to have a shot at $100, free $100 certificate to use on the embroidery site, Big Stitch, and get some stuff for your little baby.
Lionel Messi shirt.
Yeah, we'll get him. Yeah, we can get him that, or we can get him one of those Bills shirts that they have for the kids.
There we go. Yep.
Jose, we're gonna. I know you want your boy to be playing soccer, but he's gonna watch some football, especially if you're out here in the U.S., man. So we're gonna sign him up to be a Bills fan.
Yes.
Jake, thank you, man. That was fun. Appreciate you, buddy.
That was awesome. Heck yeah, Mike. Right
you
back
have a good
at
night. See you soon.
You too. Go Bills.